What's going on, brothers and sisters? Chris here from Namaste Gaming, and this is part 1 of my Guild Wars 2 review. In this series, we're going to go over the basics of Guild Wars 2 and take a look at whether ArenaNet succeeded or failed with their goal of creating an MMORPG that leapfrogs the rest of the genre. First off, let's look at the business model. Guild Wars 2 is a buy-to-play MMO. This means that although you do have to purchase a copy of the game, unlike many other AAA MMOs, there's no subscription fee. Instead of having a sub fee, they've opted to use a cash shop to generate support revenue. Now, before you run for the hills with cries of pay to win, you need to know a couple of things. First, the cash shop deals primarily in cosmetic and convenience items, with a small assortment of time savers like minor XP and karma buffs on the side. You can't buy stats, and you can't buy your way to an advantage against other players. The second thing that you should know about the cash shop is that you can purchase gems, the cash shop currency, using in-game gold. To put that more plainly, items from the cash shop can be obtained without ever spending a dime of real money. As far as I'm concerned, this is a positive thing. The less obstacles between the player base and the game, the better. This particular implementation of the cash shop is probably the most ethical in the genre, even giving access to players who are unable or unwilling to spend any more real money on the game. The business model is a definite win in my book. Now let's talk about the graphics. The art style in this game is beautiful. The scenery looks like something straight out of a watercolor painting, and given that one of their design goals was to make background imagery indistinguishable from concept art, that's a very good thing. The graphical fidelity could be better. The game, as of the time of this review, still uses DirectX 9 rather than DX 10 or 11, and some of the texture mapping is a bit jaggy, but these are mostly just nitpicks. The game looks incredible and sets a new artistic standard in a genre largely dominated by plasticky textures and lifeless landscapes. The sound picks up right where the graphics left off. With visceral, juicy combat sounds and music composed by the one and only Jeremy Soule, look up his resume. Seriously, the guy is a legend. There is no debating the quality of sound in Guild Wars 2. Here, I'll shut up for a second so you can hear it yourself. Yeah, I think you get it now. Enough said. One of the features that the devs have been really outspoken about is the combat. They wanted to avoid the traps of typical MMO combat. Boring, stationary, turret-style gameplay where you mash through a rotation until your fun bar is empty, then sit through pointless downtime so you can have the privilege of doing it all over again. Well, they succeeded. Combat in Guild Wars 2 is mobile, dynamic, engaging, and above all, it's fun. If you approach combat the same way you have in other MMOs, you're gonna have a bad time. Guild Wars 2 will have you dodging, strafing, and carefully choosing your attacks, or you'll be getting a lot of first-hand experience with another interesting aspect of combat, the down state, in which you desperately fight for your life in a sort of last stand mode before either rallying and rejoining the fight, or actually dying. This game pushes MMO combat as far forward as WoW did when it first came out. The new bar has been set. PvE progression is another category in which ArenaNet set out to innovate, and while they didn't exactly shake the foundations, they did make some very agreeable changes to the old standby of the theme park MMO. Quests as we know them play a very small part in Guild Wars 2. They're actually limited only to your personal storyline. That's right, in this game, your quest, singular, actually means something to your character. The vast majority of open-world PvE actually consists of renown hearts and dynamic events. Renown hearts are NPCs that need your help within a given area. There are always several tasks that you can do to help them. An early one at the dam in Queensdale has you clearing rock slides, plugging leaks, fighting earth elementals, and occasionally fending off the odd flock of harpies. Doing any of those things will progress you towards completing the heart. The main purpose of these renown hearts, however, are to guide you to areas where dynamic events happen. Dynamic events are the meat of the open-world PvE. These events are usually a chain with multiple branch-off points that depend on whether you succeed or fail at each stage. Something like bandits raid a farm, and if you drive them off, then maybe the next step is to strike at the bandits' lair while they're weakened, then defeat their leader. If you fail, the bandits might take over the farm, and then the next stage of the event for you is trying to clear them out. These events are everywhere. In my experience, there are usually at least 1 or 2 near every Renown Heart. They're a ton of fun, and as far as the whole theme park MMORPG experience goes, this is as good as it gets. What makes it even better is that ArenaNet has decided that we're all on the same team, and we should be rewarded for helping each other, not punished. To that end, there's no such thing as mob tagging. If you help kill a mob, you get experience and your own loot roll. That means that you're not having to compete with other players for your share of the experience during events. You're actually playing with other people. It's a simple change, but it completely alters the atmosphere of the game. I've never felt this connected to the other players in an MMO before. Oh, and just a final note on PvE progression, there are also several instanced dungeons in the game that have both a linear story mode and an unlockable non-linear exploration mode. And doing those will not only give you a deeper understanding of the lore of the game and some solid XP, you'll also earn tokens that you can use to purchase some pretty badass armor. And that wraps up part 1 of my Guild Wars 2 review. I'll be posting part 2 after the Head Start weekend is over, so click the subscribe button in the upper left if you want to make sure you don't miss it. And if you enjoyed the video, feel free to show me by clicking the like button. If you guys have any questions or you just feel like geeking out over the imminent release of Guild Wars 2, let me know in the comments section below. Stay black.